Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are Adelaide Eternal, and we're bringing you match 2 of the vintage Eternal weekend for the library. And I'm here with Dan Abraham. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
So, match 2, I had a pretty good match versus Dredge last game, but they snuck a game in
bizarre
there.
aggro, right? Yeah,
I
it was
call
like
it
bizarre
Vengevine
aggro.
Dredge.
Yeah.
Because I see
really
bizarre,
Dredge.
and my mind
Yeah.
goes, I'm playing against Dredge. And then I see Vengevine, and I'm like, but they're playing Vengevine.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about match 2. I'm on Oko Oath, Demon Oath. You can check out, we go through the list in more detail in match 1. So check out match 1 if you want to go into a bit of a deck tech. And I've got the deck up on Moxfield with a primer if you're interested. Shall we get down to the games then?
Yep, sounds good. Let's see what we can glean from. We'll try and work out what our opponent is playing.
Well, of course,
first land.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like going to a local game store or, a GP wouldn't really know what your opponent's on, but you can't do any scouting. I do a lot of scouting at tournaments when I play. You can't do it in this format, being online. Right. So I have no idea what I'm up against.
So we're looking at a blue deck. So it's probably like Jesco Xerox or Doomsday at this point, I reckon.
Yeah, and I just want to make one comment on this A call, because I could obviously wait for a blue card, and I think in hindsight it's probably worth waiting for. But the way I have designed the deck, it's pretty brutal. Main board Pyroclasts are definitely.
Yeah, you're up against Jesco. Yeah.
The way I've designed the deck is just to be very quick and very aggressive, and I find I really struggle versus control, regardless, even if I have a turn 1 A call. And so I'd rather just have a crack at resolving it and getting ahead and snowballing that rather than going into the late game. So Manifold Key, though, that's not just
okay. So we're on. All right. So we've got some kind of vault there. Could be like a paradoxical vault kind of.
When was the last time you played against the Time Vault list?
Oh, in Highlander against Aaron. Like, there's a guy from Toowoomba who plays Time Vault. Yeah. And he bloody wrecked me. He wrecks me every time I play him. He's got a great deck.
Well, it's so fascinating with Thassa's Oracle that Oracle is just a sort of more efficient, because Time Vault costs 2 for the Vault, 1 for the key, 1 to activate, it's 4. And Oracle costs 2 for the Oracle, 1 for the Demonic Consultation. That's 3, and it's cheaper than what was always considered an absolutely broken combo in Time Vault.
I'm slamming Show and Tell here. So I know you're going to go regrowth your Ancestral. That's probably good. You can get a blue card to defend your Show and Tell, which seems like a pretty good idea.
Yeah. I even then, I'm not 100%, because a lot of these decks, especially with the key, they run Tinker. And if they run Tinker, they probably run Bolus's Citadel. So I'm a little bit scared of Bolus's Citadel, which they can enter in with a Show and Tell. I guess, despite what I said before, I'm playing a little bit patient. But I've always got that Show and Tell up my sleeve. I use the Show and Tell just to make my hand better if it's awkward with the Runes card, rather than as like a powerful play. I'd rather do my main game plan, which is find Oath. Because I find one Runes card demon usually won't win me the game by itself.
Yep. Okay, so you can defend your Ancestral, your force back. And then pretty much everyone's off the top, and then your Show and Tell's looking pretty good.
Another force.
They get force back. They're on 1 card, so you play your land and Show and Tell here, and you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, well, now if they've got a Bolus of Citadel as their final card, good on you.
Yeah.
You can also assume that it might be something that they could. I'm surprised why they played the Mana Crypt out. It implies they want to use the mana.
All right. So York will.
Oh yeah, York will could be pretty good there. But there's no.
I would have tried to cast Ancestral again. Yeah, that's what I wanted to cast Ancestral again.
Like when
you're on 0 cards.
It's good with the pedal, but I get to go land drop pedal A-call, which is decent.
But you've got a Forbidden Orchard, so I think it's a good idea too.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the Show and Tell did good. If I was going to make, if a new card comes out that I really want to add, Show and Tell will probably be the first to be cut. And I often sideboard it out, but yeah, it's just really nice when I can't find my Brainstorm or I've already used it and I've got this demon in my hand. I'm pretty happy with that Flusterstorm, by the way. Because keep in mind, whatever I put on top, I'm going to mill anyway. So I was probably just looking for Memory's Journey to put on top anyway, which is like pretty this or that.
Yeah, that was good.
You can see I've picked up my pace of play since match one.
Yeah. So it's going a little faster. Yeah, so you're looking good. Yeah. So what do we think? So they're definitely on time vault. So
this was stressful. This was so stressful. I was like, oh no.
I think you're gonna lose your win.
Yeah.
Did you get your win?
I'm pretty sure I still
Like,
get
shit.
a win.
Oh no. Interesting art.
So I'm on I'm against artifacts, but also, because I haven't seen too many Time Vault decks in my practice matches beforehand. Because most of the Time Vault decks were spawned out of the evolution is the paradoxical outcome deck, which ended up cutting Time Vault.
It just plays Mentor as its win condition. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, the interesting thing is like it makes the win vulnerable to Null Rod, right? And it's just such a prevalent card. The Collector Ufi in the main deck of a bunch of
that's right.
Doesn't seem that
and with so many
anymore.
Force of Vigors in the format right now, I think it makes sense. But it's so weird to see such a powerful combo like Time Vault Key not get played in Vintage. You know, I mean, it's almost not good enough. It's not that it's not good enough. It's a meta thing, but it's fascinating when you've got it in the deck. You're not playing it in a deck with a bunch of artifacts and a bunch of, and a tinker.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting.
So I'm siding in Nullrod, Needle, Veils, and Force. I side out Balance with artifacts because often it doesn't hit them. And I side out Lotus Petal because I'm siding in my own Nullrod, so I don't want Lotus Petal. And I'm pretty happy to cut Preordains. I used to be religiously against it because it's the glue of your deck, but more lately I've been happy to cut it since they're not counters, they're not Okos, they're not sideboard cards, and they're not combo pieces. So it's just like a logical cut.
And you brought in Veil of Summer as like the green Flusterstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you got Ponder. Hand's looking a little sketchy.
It's not great.
Ponder, hope they can correct it.
It's very reliant on the Ponder, isn't it? I've got to get better at mulliganing. I find I'm playing okay. Like I haven't made too many blunders, but I don't keep great hands. I've got to work on that. Because this is probably a mull. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with the hand because of the Ponder, but in a format like Vintage, I think I could do better.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those formats where you have the cards to recover from a mull to 5 or 6. Like it's not all over. Like it is in other kinds of formats. So. Yeah,
a multi 6 isn't all over in any format, but it can feel like that sometimes. I think it's just very frustrating when you lose in a grindy matchup and you're like, that one card, could have made the difference. Where you've just traded card for card. But because there's so many Force of Wills in this format, like people get 2 for 1 all the time. People get 2 for 1 and 3 for 1 and 10 for 1.
So it looks like your opponent's on Grixis. So Grixis Time Vault. Whoa. Ouch. You get your Ponder Flusterstorms.
Yeah, I guess the black is for the Boilers of Citadel is what I've got to imagine. It's just such a great tinker target.
Yeah. Okay, so you need some green mana. Yeah. Otherwise you're going to struggle. So hopefully you'll draw a Misty Rainforest in the next turn. Jace.
This is pretty tough here.
Yeah. Does Jace still see a bit of play in Vintage, or is it a little bit on the wane like it is in other formats? At least it is in Highlander, just because it's a 4-mana spell. I guess because you got Moxen, it's probably all right.
Yeah, I think also Lotus makes it really good, being able to turn 1 Jace. I mean, there's plenty of Okos. There's probably more Okos than Jace now. Jace is really good. Brainstorm is so strong in this format because I think regardless of even if you're playing Control and all your spells are interactive, it's either like a threat, a preordain, a counterspell, or a sword. You still inevitably have a dead card because you come up against Thoracle, Doomsday, and then your swords are dead. So you always have dead cards. So brainstorming is really strong. You can see my opponent sideboarding Caracas here.
Now we've got a Doretti.
Seems pretty awful versus me.
Yeah, why are you playing Doretti against the Druid?
I didn't even read it. I don't even know what it does. He just spews out 1/1s, and I'm like, that seems fine. I should probably read the card. I assume it's Goblin Wielder, right?
Yeah, it's something like that. Hang on, I'll try and find him.
Graphic is just looking pretty bad here.
Let's just watch. Yeah, I think you're struggling here. I think this game's over.
The graphic is, man.
You got Jace. He's like brainstorming every turn, drawing cards. You got no green mana. Oh, there you go. You got mana confluence. So you go for
Let's
Oath.
see if the Oath resolves.
Surely he's gonna have.
Like I was hoping it resolves because they go, oh well, I've got a Graph Digger's Cage, so that's fine, and then I get to Oko Elk it.
Yeah. Okay. But it's stopped it.
Mind you, they're going up with Jace. I think they should be brainstorming with Jace.
No, they're on 2 cards. They've got to be brainstorming here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're clearly like, they're a blue deck. They're gonna have Force of Wills. Like they just want to go up on cards, stop you.
They can rest on the Graph Digger's Cage, and then the Jace will win the game with the ultimate, and the Graph Digger's Cage is enough. That's a pretty huge brainstorm, right?
Yeah, draw Ancestral Recall and Time War. Pretty
so
good.
Leave the Time Walk as the bait card, because often people don't counter the Time Walk. They counter the actual spell that's good. But I really want to resolve Oko.
Let's see how we go. He's on 1 card, so they can't pitch Force of Will. You maybe get Pyroblast.
You can hard cast Force, yeah. And to my opponent's credit, they didn't counter the Time Walk, which I think is correct.
Yeah.
But I've got Oko.
Well, again, when do you worry? You worry about Time Walk when there's a mentor on the table, right? That's when it really matters.
Yeah. Well, you counter whatever they're going to capitalize the Time Walk with, the threat that they're going to capitalize with. So my opponent played that well. And you can see this is sometimes where the hand can get dicey. Like drawing, I looked really good there with A-Call, Regrowth, Cruise, and then I draw Underworld Breach, Memories Journey, Dead card being Dig Through Time. Because the Cruise and Dig Through Time are similar.
Yeah. So Regrowth for Ancestral here seems like the right line.
And once again, it's great, but now I've drawn the Runescar Demon, which is like another dead card. So the fact that you're playing combo this is what I mean by like when you're playing against control, every card is so important, and I've just got so many dead cards in a control matchup, even when I'm going off. But my opponent's not really on control. They've had a Jace out for a while now.
Well, I think are you on Hardcast Runescar Demon next turn? Which gives you access to something, at least to hit the cage. Yeah. So, and then you've got your Oko, your Oath in play. So, and you're still on 16. Like they keep making 1/1 defenders.
Yeah, I'm not reading the ready. It's got to do something, right? I'm just like,
it does a thing.
It must Goblin Wielder. It's surely got to do sacrifice an artifact. You know what I think it does? I think it sacrifices an artifact to destroy a target creature.
Oh, there you go. Sacrifice Ingenious Iconoclast. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Or destroy. So they sacked a defender to destroy my Pearl.
Yeah. Okay. It's pretty sweet. If you're playing Skull Clamp. Yeah.
So I did that pretty quick, but you'll notice I activated the Oath. I let the Oath trigger resolve, and that's because I got Cruise and Dig in hand. So Containment Priest will exile the creature, which would mean Runescar will get exiled. Graph Diggers says the creature can't enter, so it gets left on top, so I draw it for turn. So I knew I would draw Runescar for turn there, but I thought if I can play Cruise and Dig this turn, I can refill my hand and find an answer. And unfortunately, I only milled 4 cards and then found the Runescar, but it's not nothing. And I like to dig over Cruise here.
Yeah, because you got a pretty full hand. It's like you want quality right now rather than quantity necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on 6. They don't know what my 6 is, but it's like kind of a woeful 6. This is actually an absolutely perfect example of why I did that A-Call on turn 1. Is because sometimes I just can't beat control, even if I'm resolving my draw spells. So I'd rather just be quick.
So what are you going for? You got Oko?
Show and tell. Okay, I go.
Does that still get? Oh yeah, I guess that gives you a way to get one of those Runescar Demons. Ouch. After you deploy Oko and neuter the cage.
This is pretty good though. No counter spell. All right. So I didn't show and tell. I guess, because the Daretti can just kill, if I show and sell, the Daretti will just kill the Runescar Demon. And I think you're right, I'm even considering a hardcast Runescar Demon at some point. Because I want to trigger Oath and cycle, like take the infinite turns, not quite infinite, but take multiple turns for the win, rather than just play a big guy that Daretti can kill.
Well, yeah, with Jace out there, you want to be taking multiple turns. Otherwise, Jace is going to bounce you, dude.
Yeah.
The fact that the 1/1s are defenders, though, from that Daretti does seem to be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, like, it's not a great card versus me at all.
Yeah. Imagine those are like applying pressure across all these turns.
It's a 3-mana counterspell. 3-mana Planeswalker. But I completely agree. I mean, it's just not what you want to be doing versus me. But here we go. I mean, I'm going to get a Runescar Demon. I'm going to mill a whole bunch of my deck, but not all of it. And I'm going to be able to go off. I've got Underworld Breach in my hand.
Well, that's filled your graveyard. That's a lot. What have we got?
Probably, yeah. So I've gone Time Walk, Yogmoth's Will, Noxious Revival. Because remember, I Time Walked earlier, so it was in my graveyard. It's at the very top.
Yeah. So Memory's Journey in response to the trigger to put the important ones back in, then you find the one that you want. Yeah. That's really cool. I like that technology. Time Walk.
And I've only got one card left in my deck, but keep in mind I've got Noxious Revival as the last card in my deck, so that will give me another turn because it puts a card in my, so I won't mill myself. And I've got Memory's Journey as well as a backup just in case. And I was going to just pass here, but of course Underworld Breach, which is relatively new. I mean, I've got Lotus in the bin and Breach, so I think I can just cast a lot of Time Walks.
Yeah. That's seeming pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not used to playing with a card, so my instinct was just to do the classic Memory's Journey Time Walk. But in the end, I could have just Underworld Breach, but it doesn't really matter here because I'm going to get a lot of turns.
I saw I like the deck that's got Brain Freeze, Underworld Breach in it.
Yeah, that deck's so sick.
Oh, yeah.
And you Brain Freeze yourself to let your Underworld Breach be better, and then the final Brain Freeze is on them.
Yep, and you just mill them to death. It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. It's not easy to play. But
no.
the Breach not exiling is just, it honestly makes it better than Yawgmoth's Will. Yawgmoth's was slightly crisper because you get to play lands and you don't have to do a lot of thinking about what you exile. You're just like, I'm going to play this Preordain, I'm going to play this land, I'm going to play this Mox, I'm going to play this ACOL. Underworld Breach can be a bit finicky, but I think it is more powerful.
I just think it's I don't know, with all the life gain around, like I think it's cool to be able to win at the moment without doing damage. So these kind of kills like Underworld Breach, Brain Freeze, like
what life gain is in Vintage at the moment?
Oh, not in Vintage. I'm thinking sort of more broadly in Highlander, but like
stuff,
Euro and Oko and things like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm mainly like into Highlander, so I'm really into non-damage sources of wins at the moment. I think they're really cool. Underworld Breach is probably a little bit susceptible to graveyard hate, but it's cool.
Well, that's right. But I mean, I sort of need my graveyard to win. But that's not true. I find like often my opponents oversub what graveyard hate in, and then I'm just like, okay, well, you still need to beat a 6/6 demon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Oath is good in that respect.
So I've taken a lot of turns, and now I realize that probably the only way I lose is by milling myself. So I'm going to flash back Memory's Journey, but not for the green that exiles it. I'm going to cast it through Underworld Breach. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But this gets a little bit awkward because I can't remember. Am I choosing cards to exile or am I choosing cards to put in? And I don't want to exile the cards that I'm targeting to put in. So I've just got to like work that around. But I was like, I've got about 9 turns on the stack now. So my opponent probably should concede here. but I guess.
Yeah. How many times did you cast Time Walk? Like 3 or 4 or
I
something?
don't know a lot. Yeah, enough. I mean, it never goes infinite, but it's always enough.
Yeah.
This deck
So
can
usually
never
you're really probably going to need 3 attacks, right, to win.
Yeah, 3 attacks. But then there's Swords to Plowshare, so they've got to think, okay, well, what if I draw what if then I have to play my Rune's Guard in hand, and what if they have a Snap and another Swords or something like that? It's just like, okay.
They've got to be feeling hard done by that their Caracas has done nothing, right? They would have surely expected Grizzlebrand.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
And they saw the Oath, yeah.
You would too. I mean, I don't think they're idiots for deciding it in. I decided what it in. They go, I probe because I'm like, all right, what are you actually doing here? The next step, I was like, oh god. All right, whatever.
It's interesting.
So I've got 4 cards in my deck. I've still got a Journey in the bin to flashback again if I want to, and I've got about 9 turns left, so the game's pretty much done, right?
So no triggering the Oath. Oh, that's good. Although you might be inviting problems.
Yeah,
let this guy do the work. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. You got 6 mana.
And even though I could just skip through and swing for the win, I'm like, well, if they're not conceding, then it implies they might have something. So they would have done it by now if they had anything, but whatever. I'll just play correctly. And I mean, it's a pretty decent price. It's like 900 play points, some ridiculous amount of treasure chests, and you get a painting of like an artwork, an old art of library, and a full set of Zendikar. So it's a decent price for first.
Yeah. Is it like, I remember, so when Joe Brennan, I think last year, won the bigger, like Eternal Weekend vintage, it was like a painting of Mox Jet or something like that, and they stuck an elk over the top of it. Because he had famously, I think, won a match by turning his Black Lotus into an elk.
Yeah, everyone heard about that. Even outside of the vintage community, people were talking about that. And it's something everyone wants to do now, isn't it?
That's right.
Well, if anyone can do it, it's probably, I'm playing 4 Oko, so there's a good chance I can do it.
Yeah, you should do it. Yeah. It's just naturally draw Time Walk again.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's pretty dead here, to be honest.
Again. Puts your opponent down to 2. If they haven't killed your thing yet, I think we should be seeing the concession.
Yeah, I mean, for all I know, they could have just F6. Although then, why is this taking so long? But they could have just F6, walked away, made a cup of coffee. Hope I misplay something.
Yeah, just work down your clock or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, this is game 2 though, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it?
Could be wrong.
I can't recall.
This is game 2. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty good though because they had that. My hand was pretty awful, and then they landed Jace into an empty board, and I thought it was really done.
Yeah, I thought you were dead.
Yeah,
I thought it was like done. Game over.
But the brainstorm was phenomenal. The brainstorm found green land, Acor, Time Walk.
Yeah, but you think like there was those few turns there where the opponent was ticking up on Jace instead of brainstorming to find interaction because they were ahead. They should have just been burying you in card advantage.
Yeah, I think so too. Really. They needed to find them more counters. Well, thanks heaps for watching, guys. We'll be back with match number 3, and there's a 10-round event, so stay tuned. And as I said before, if you want to check out the deck list, check it out on Moxfield and on in round 1. Thanks very much, Dan, for joining me, and we'll see you next time.
Cool. Thanks. Bye.